Hello, good evening. I'm Roger Johnson. Monday evening. Welcome to North West Tonight. Thank you for your company this evening. Our top story. Lucy Letby's senior manager tells the Thirlwall inquiry she found it hard to believe that anyone could be harming babies.
It was a very difficult thing to hear. So maybe I didn't process it as I should have done at the time.
Alison Kelly was Director of Nursing at the Countess of Chester Hospital. Also tonight, Barrow takes the brunt of Storm Bert as engineers work round the clock to restore trains to the town. Slots Liverpool go 8 points clear as the Premier League returns, as Guardiola's City falter like never before.
I know what I have to do. Moe, I could really use your help.
Another first for Alder Hey as Disney's Moana 2 premieres in Liverpool, the first hospital in the Northwest to get its own cinema.
And Storm Bert has cleared away to the northeast. The weather for the rest of the week is looking much quieter. We'll see some dry and sunny weather, but turning colder with frosts. I'll bring you the details at the end of the programme.
The inquiry into Lucy Letby's crimes has heard that a senior manager couldn't comprehend that one of her nurses could be harming babies. Director of Nursing Alison Kelly told Letby that she would return to the neonatal unit just 6 months after she'd been removed following a series of collapses and deaths. Letby, of course, was later convicted of killing 7 babies and trying to murder 7 others. Live to our health correspondent, Jill Dummigan. She was at the Thirlwall inquiry today. She joins us now live from there. And Jill, important to point out that this was all after Letby had taken a grievance out against the Trust about being removed from the unit in the first place.
That's right, yes, and the panel was still hearing her case. Well, but in November 2016, the Trust wrote a letter to Letby in which it said that Alison Kelly had no concerns about her going back to the neonatal unit and that they'd be planning for this in the coming weeks. She'd been removed in July 2016, of course, because the consultants had repeatedly raised concerns that she was behind the collapses and deaths on the unit. Now, we heard that several days before that removal, a senior nursing manager had told Ms Kelly that 2 consultants thought that Letby might have murdered Child O, a crime that she was later convicted of. Despite this, Alison Kelly didn't ask to speak to those consultants directly or ask when Letby's next shift was. The next day, she went on to kill his triplet brother, Child P. Counsel to the inquiry, Nicholas Tiller-Casey, asked her why she hadn't got more involved.
We found it quite difficult to kind of comprehend, really. You know, as a director of nursing, in that organisation, I was over nearly 1,000 nurses and midwives. The last thing on my mind is that one of my nurses is deliberately harming children or babies or adults.
And Jill, she wasn't just the Director of Nursing, was she, Alison Kelly? She also had a senior safeguarding role at the hospital.
Yes, and it would have been her job to raise what was happening formally as a safeguarding issue. Concerns were being raised to her by the consultants from the spring of 2016. If she'd done that, there would have been an external investigation, but in fact, the police inquiry had started before she'd taken that step. Now, Ms Kelly was also a senior figure in the Speak Out Safely programme designed to protect members of staff who legitimately raised concerns, but again, that formal protection process wasn't triggered. She stressed throughout that at no point did she intend to cover anything up. She spoke directly to the families of the children and said she was sorry for the stress that they'd experienced over the years. I didn't get everything right at the time. However, the decisions I made were done with the best of intentions, she said. The inquiry continues tomorrow.
Jill, thank you very much. Jill Dummigan there. Now, trains in and out of Barrow-in-Furness have been cancelled after rail lines were flooded during Storm Bert. It was thought that the track between Barrow and Lancaster would be closed until Friday, but the engineers who've been on site say that they are confident that services can resume tomorrow. A bit of good news then. Jonas Muller has been looking at Storm Bert's impact across the northwest.
This is what Storm Bert did to the train line between Barrow and Lancaster. Last week, a stream had made its way onto the railway, but when the snow fell and then melted, the track was flooded.
It has had a big impact on the local community and society because we've been unable to run trains for a number of days. So we've recognised how important it is, and we've brought resources in from far and wide to respond immediately to this.
In Fulridge near Colne, a car was stuck on Cockhill Lane. Part of that road effectively becomes a riverbed during heavy rain. A man in his 80s was taken from the car to hospital, where he died. This was Nuttall Park in Ramsbottom. The River Irwell burst its banks. Julie Taylor was putting up Christmas decorations at a community building when the drama unfolded.
We saw like a river coming down, and it was going faster and faster, and it was cascading, and it was coming through the woods, and then it was coming up and up and up, so it was like a river. I got in the car and it was like driving in a lake. Anyway, we got out safely, and then we all parked up there and watched it.
The nearby bowling green runs adjacent to the river.
2015, when it really got damaged, we had the Environmental Agency down here, and they spent months in the river. We think actually that the reason why they'd done that was to make Nuttall Park a floodplain to save Salford, because the Irwell run through Salford, and in 2015 Salford got flooded.
Storm Bert has caused significant river and surface water flooding. The Environment Agency has been out clearing debris and checking flood defences. Here, the local authority says it receives regular complaints about blocked drains. It does its best, but like other authorities, has financial pressures to deal with.
The sheer volume that came down within 24 hours was, I think that took everybody by surprise, and luckily the council, we managed to get a lot of people out to respond to those flash flooding areas and down here as well.
Storm Bert has left us, and more settled weather is forecast in the coming days, but there could be another storm as soon as next month. Eunice Muller, BBC Northwest, Tonight, Bury.
Greater Manchester Police has been accused of racial profiling after large groups of gypsy and traveller children were herded onto trains at Manchester Victoria Station on Saturday. The force says that it was enforcing a dispersal order in response to intelligence about antisocial behaviour. Some of the families of those affected say that the children were put on the wrong trains and ended up in different parts of the country.
The police in this case have profiled a whole group of children based on their race. Racial profiling is not an appropriate way to police, and it's entirely inappropriate. And Greater Manchester Police need to be held accountable for their actions.
A Muslim leader has been given an award after he embraced protesters outside a mosque in Liverpool in the wake of the Southport knife attacks. Adam Kelwick spoke to crowds of demonstrators in August. He's since done outreach work and was given a Beacon Mosque Award. The government is considering a request to put forward by most of Lancashire's Labour MPs to abolish the county's 15 councils and replace them with a simpler structure of 3 or 4 authorities and an elected mayor. It's been given a mixed response by the council's leaders.
I didn't sign the letter. I think we've got to take people with us when we're doing this. We've got to make the case for why actually the two-tier system that we've got at the moment, Lancashire County Council and the districts, it's a lack of accountability. People don't know who's responsible for what.
It was Politics Northwest yesterday, of course, if you weren't watching. There was a disappointing Christmas lights switch on in Oldham at the weekend when it became apparent that someone had stolen the lights. Children were told to shine their torches onto the tree instead. The supplier has since given them new ones. Councillors who organised the event blamed naughty elves for pinching the lights.
It was a disappointment for everybody, and particularly the children. Father Christmas was going to switch the lights on, and obviously that couldn't happen. So the naughty elves got the blame, and they'd clearly hidden them somewhere in the bushes.
A second Dave Day event in memory of the TV chef Dave Myers will return to Barrow next year. Tens of thousands of bikers arrived in his hometown earlier this year, of course, in a procession from London, led by fellow hairy biker Cy King. Dave died of cancer, of course, earlier this year at the age of 66, and Dave Day 2 will return to Barrow in June. We were hearing about the effects of Storm Bert a few moments ago. Simon will have a full weather forecast for us shortly. And Ian will be here to round up all of the weekend's sport. Of course, the Premier League returned after the international break. But first, residents in a village in Cheshire are so angry at plans for a big housing development that they have decided to give the landowner a taste of her own medicine. they've submitted plans to turn her multi-million-pound home in London into a heritage centre for rare breeds of sheep. And even though the owner's home is 200 miles away, the plans still have to be considered by the council in London, as Andy Gill reports from Halebank, near Widnes.
Ryland sheep are a heritage breed. This flock grazes right next to former Greenbelt land in Halton Borough. The wealthy owner of the land wants to sell it so 500 houses can be built on it. If that happens, it'd be hard for the sheep to stay here. And locals say it's not just the sheep, but that the whole village's infrastructure couldn't cope with that scale of development.
The infrastructure's not here. 500 houses, could be 1,700 cars plus. And the annoying part about it is we could just go literally just 2-minute walk down there. There's the same amount of land, 40 acres of land, brownfield site, empty, which has been empty for years.
The locals say they've contacted the landowner. She's called Catherine Hesketh and is a member of the wealthy Guinness family. But after one email back, the locals have heard nothing. That's why they've submitted a planning application of their own to turn Mrs. Hesketh's own house in London into a rare sheep breed heritage centre. That'd be a sheep heritage centre on a Westminster street where properties sell for north of £4 million.
I suppose it's just a historic quirk of the planning system. You don't actually have to own the land in order to be able to submit a planning application. So even with respect to this land here, the planning application that has been submitted isn't coming from the landowner, which obviously is the Hesketh family. It's coming from a company who they have appointed as their would-be development partners.
And it's a properly submitted application with maps, plans and sketches of where the sheep would go. Of course, there won't ever actually be a heritage sheep centre at the Hesketh family home in London. But this is a stunt with a serious message to get the landowners to talk to local people about their concerns.
We think it's just disrespectful for the landowners to completely ignore the people that live in the area when they're making such widespread development of the area.
The campaigners accept there'll be some new houses here, but want talks to reach a compromise. The development company acting for the landowner has said the plan would deliver much-needed and affordable houses and create new jobs. Andy Gill, BBC North West Tonight, Widnes.
Watch this space. We'll let you know how the plans for the Heritage Centre get on in London. Now, film buffs from around the country are heading for Morecambe, where the town is hosting a month-long film festival. The event aims to shine a light on local film industry talent, but also highlights the value of Morecambe Bay as a backdrop for films and TV shows. We all know well know that it's been used many, many times before, and it's great. Dave Guest has this report.
OK, here we go. A red carpet, paparazzi and popcorn, all vital ingredients for a film festival. But for this festival, think more Lancashire coast than French Riviera. Welcome to the Bay International Film Festival in Morecambe.
There are filmmakers around in Cumbria, in Lancashire. Most of the time they don't know each other.
One of the things we're trying to do is to create networks to bring them all together and collaborate.
There's lots of film festivals around the world. I think each one brings something unique to it, and with ours we've focused on short films.
They've gathered together an eclectic mix of film and TV shows for a month of big screen entertainment.
They're showing 96 films at 8 venues spread right across Morecambe, with genres ranging from comedy to horror, locally produced to international.
And with this as a potential backdrop, filmmakers can't fail to be inspired.
The question is, how long was he dead before he went in the water?
One Lancaster-based screenwriter was inspired to use it as the setting for TV cop show The Bay. It's put Morecambe firmly on the map across the world.
The latest I heard was it was now being shown in 140 different countries. So people have really responded to it, which is, amazing. And the people here have responded to it too.
Locals had their chance to respond to the latest season of The Bay on the opening night of the festival. Episode 1 of Series 5 was unveiled to them.
Because it's all so dear to our hearts, and, we want to be here and celebrate film and TV.
What's up?
I thought you were...
First time you kissed someone like me.
Unicorns is a full-length feature film showing at the festival. It's up for a raft of awards. One of the producers is a local lad who agreed to be patron of the Bay Festival.
I need a lift.
Why were you so keen for your film to be seen at this festival in the Bay?
Well, I grew up watching films here in Morecambe. You know, I'm born and bred here. I went away for work, but I'm back all the time. When I heard about the opportunity to be involved with the festival, it was just something I couldn't resist.
The Bay International Film Festival runs until December 1st. Dave Guest, BBC North West Tonight, Morecambe.
There you go. Who needs the Cannes Film Festival or the Oscars or all that when you've got it in Morecambe? It looks like a good event, doesn't it? Right, let's move on to sport. Ian is here tonight. Nice to see you.
You too.
Liverpool 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League. It was a tough game yesterday, but the difference was the main man scored a couple of goals. But there are doubts about Mo Salah tonight, I hear.
Yeah, I was watching it too yesterday. Mo Salah's status as a Liverpool legend is, of course, already secured. But what's not secured, as we all know now, is his long-term future at the club. There's been lots of talk about it already this season. Worryingly for Liverpool fans, the end might just be approaching. Salah's told reporters that he hasn't received an offer to stay beyond his current contract, and that expires at the end of June. This comes after yet another match-winning display for the Reds, as Roger alluded to, in yesterday's hard-fought 3-2 win at Southampton, which put its team 8 points clear at the top.
Well, we almost in December. I haven't received any offer to stay yet in the club, so probably I'm more out than in. I love the fans love me, but in the end it's not in my hand, it's the fans' hand, so yeah, let's wait and see.
How do you feel about the fact there hasn't been an offer then? Does that disappoint you?
Of course, yeah.
What should I change?
Well, sometimes people react to losing.
If I should change in the first season and everyone asked to change, we will not win 7 Premier Leagues in a year to lose games. It's unusual, yeah, right.
A draw, you never feel the good things. You try to think. I'm really happy because they try, but they can do so much better.
It's a long time, isn't it? Let's take a look now at the EFL, where a few of our team's matches were postponed because of Storm Bert, but most did go ahead. In League One, Bolton came back from a goal down to North West rivals Blackpool to win 2-1. This Aaron Collins goal deep into injury time, sealing victory and possibly keeping his manager in a job. Also in League One, there was a good win for Wigan Athletic at Barnsley. Tello Asgard with the winner at Oakwell. While in League Two, second bottom Morecambe won at relegation rival Swindon. Hallam Hope's goal clinching a 3-2 win. There's one match tonight and it comes in League Two, and what a match potentially as Crewe Alexandra go to local rivals and league leaders Port Vale. A win for the Alex would take them up to second. This is all the sports, or football largely tonight, Roger.
Is that it?
Well,
we mentioned the darts.
Well, the darts, yeah, I was watching a bit of that at the weekend as well. Luke Littler from Warrington versus Luke Humphreys from Crewe. Humphreys beat Littler 11-7 in the Players' Championship final. But we'll be doing loads on darts in the run-up to and during the World Championships, of course.
Yeah.
So I think Luke Littler, easy for me to say, he's going to win.
Yeah, do you? Well, Luke Humphreys is world number 1. Let's wait and see. Thank you, Ian. Right, cheers. Thanks, Ian. Right, before Simon and the weather, let's talk about Alder Hey Children's Hospital. It is well used to performing firsts. Normally they are operations or medical procedures, so this is something a little bit different. It's become the first hospital here in the North West to get its own cinema, and the children at Alder Hey got a bit of a treat when they got to watch the new Disney film Moana 2 ahead of its UK premiere yesterday. Isabel Fry was there.
What do you call a gorilla with bananas in his ears? Anything like he can't hear you.
She loves that joke. She would ideally like to go on her tablet all day long, but obviously we want to try and avoid that. We've tried colouring in, haven't we? We've done reading, we've done games, but it's a long day without anything to do.
Whoa.
Oh, wow, look at this. Look at those seats.
There's hundreds of room for my wheelchair.
Yeah, there is. The new cinema is the first of its kind in a children's hospital in the UK. It can seat 34 patients who can come in their beds, wheelchairs and bring their families. And thanks to all the fundraising, it hasn't cost the NHS a penny.
The support we've had from the community and from all of our fundraisers is phenomenal, and being able to work in partnership with our charity and Medicinema to make this a reality in what's been really quite a short space of time, it just makes me so proud for the people of Liverpool and our children and young people here at Alder Hey.
In hospital, there's very little opportunity to make those memories like you would if you were at home or if you had a party or a celebration. But here we can do the celebrating, but we can do it in the cinema. Also with palliative care, so children who are at the end of life, to give them the opportunity to invite their loved ones and make memories together at a really challenging time for all their relatives. Would you like to come to a very, very special screening of Moana?
My job as a wayfinder to finish what they started.
Moana, show how people just how far we'll go.
This is your special ticket. Would your sister Maria like to see Moana too?
I think she would.
Yeah, I think she really would.
Elise and the rest of the VIP guests arrived for the big day. It was a star-studded entrance before they took their seats for an exclusive screening of Disney's Moana 2, even before the film premiered in London.
So have a great time, and we'll see you at the end of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Setting foot on its sands would break the curse, bring our people together again.
I know what I have to do. Moe, I could really use your help.
Can I get a chee-hoo?
First time in 3 weeks that she's just relaxed completely. Absolutely brilliant.
The fact that I at least got to get out the ward.
Is it hard to find things to do on the ward?
Very. Yeah.
So do you think you'd be coming to visit the cinema again?
Yeah, 100%.
It just took away the fact that we were in a hospital and she was able to just be a little bit normal and be able to take part in everyday life. So she's been in for a long time, so it was so nice to just do something different.
What was it like that you were able to come into a cinema still in your bed?
Amazing. It was so different though. It's like, well, I'm in the cinemas, but I'm in a hospital bed.
Isabel Fry, North West Tonight, Liverpool.
Isn't that brilliant? It's lovely to give them something to smile about, and that really did give them all, those poorly little ones, something to smile about. Right, let's have a look at the weather. Simon is here tonight. Obviously, all the talk about Storm Bert. I think some places had a bit of a battering, but we escaped the worst of it, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I think we had some strong winds, particularly around the Irish Sea coast. The Isle of Man had some pretty strong gusts of wind. But, yeah, actually, we didn't get too bad weather-wise over the weekend. And certainly today, things have improved. We've had some showers moving their way through, some lovely rainbows spotted by our weather watchers as we went through today. And over the next few days, things should improve again. There'll be a bit more in the way of sunshine, but it will turn colder as well. Let's have a look at Storm Bert, because, as I said, it was well to the northwest. That's it tracking to the north of Scotland, bringing some very strong winds. They're quite wide across the UK. And, of course, for us, we had some gales around those Irish Sea coasts. But now Storm Bert is well out towards Scandinavia, so things are improving. And as we go through tomorrow, yes, there'll be a few more showers to come, but equally some sunny spells as well. Now, through today, we've had some showers across mainly Lancashire and southern parts of Cumbria. Those showers will continue through the night, perhaps one or two around the Isle of Man, maybe the odd one coming in towards Merseyside and Cheshire, but on the whole, it's a little bit drier further south. Some clear spells, overnight temperatures getting down to about 3 to 6 degrees Celsius. Nothing desperately cold at this stage. Now, during Tuesday, I mentioned a few more showers, and those will come in again across parts of Cumbria, Lancashire, largely dry towards southern areas, so very similar to today, really, but the winds will be lighter throughout Tuesday. There'll be some sunny spells and top temperatures getting to about 7 to 9 degrees. Then the weather quietens down even more. We keep a close eye on an area of low pressure just to the south. Now, I'm hopeful that it will stay to the south and southeast. So for us, it's this area of high pressure that dominates the weather towards the north and the west, and that means quiet weather with some light winds and some sunshine. But it will be a chilly start on Wednesday morning. Garners beware again. We could see a return of some frost on Wednesday morning, but for much of the day on Wednesday, it will be dry. There'll be some sunshine throughout the day as well. 1 or 2 showers, perhaps around the Isle of Man. Maximum temperatures, again, on the chilly side, 6 to 9 degrees.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Almost an award-winning forecast.
Almost.
On which note, just briefly before we go, to mention the Royal Television Society Awards were held in Manchester on Friday night, and North West Tonight was named Best Regional News Programme. There it is.
Woohoo!
And
the winner is...
BBC Northwest Tonight. The judges said the show was brilliant at knowing its core topic and appealing to a live audience.
There you go. Thanks to the judges. Also, Katie Walderman was named Best Regional Journalist. So a good night was had by all. By all accounts, so I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there?
No, sadly not. But it looked like they had a great night.
Absolutely.
I hear they did.
Well done, everybody.
Indeed. Simon, thank you. Thank you, of course, to you for watching. The programme is nothing without you anyway. Whatever you're doing, have a lovely evening. Steve Saul's got the late update at 10:30. Good night.
Good night.